Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're here in my new space. I am so behind on all the videos, but I really wanted to make this video because I think it's long overdue, and it's a video that I've been wanting to make for now a year almost. I just did not think it was the right time when my layoff happened. I've seen so many of these videos out there where people are talking about their layoffs. Being laid off of big tech are the most popular videos here on YouTube, but that was not my experience. My layoff happened on December 11th of 2024, and it was kind of expected, but also the shock was still there. The company at this point had announced already that they were going to do massive layouts. This had been 2 weeks prior to when mine happened. So of course there was panic and who is it going to be, all these things. So part of me looked around at everybody who was on the team, and I just had a gut feeling that it would be me. I was the only person in Los Angeles. Everybody else was in office in New York. So that was thing number one. I also knew that because I was remote, and I had been remote during my whole time with the team. I think the pandemic changed everything because we had a lot of team members in LA, and then it switched to only New York, and I was the only person left standing in LA. And so yeah, I was just like, they've been going into the office, building these stronger bonds with our boss and people in the team. So if it came down to them putting names on the table, I knew that he would put my name down. I just had a feeling. And also at that point, I was probably making more money because I had been with the team for a little bit over 5 years. They did the first round, it was not me. And then the second week, they let go of our coordinator on my direct team. And I kid you not, a few minutes after hers, I get a random call. I wasn't even done processing her being laid off, and she was somebody that I was really close with, and I would say closer than any of my other team members. And so that happened. I wasn't even done processing, and I get a random call, and my stomach dropped. At that point and on this day, I had not done my makeup. I did not look like this. My hair wasn't done. The one day, just those days where you just don't do your makeup. Well, I thought about it and I was like, okay, if it's gonna be my layoff, just do it. Like, it doesn't even matter how I look. I will put footage in here of the moment it happened, but I look distressed. I do not look good. And so that was the moment where my life changed. This was a job that I had been at for over 5 years. It was a job where I had been promoted multiple times. I started at this job as a coordinator and then worked very hard, and in a matter of like 4 months I was promoted twice because I was just taking on a lot of responsibility really fast, helping the team when we most needed it. When there were people leaving during the pandemic and somebody was laid off, I had to step in and fill bigger shoes than what my title was. And so when I got the news, I said to myself, I am not going to cry in this call. It wasn't even my manager who gave me the news. It was the VP. I've never been through layoffs, but the way the mine went is HR and him jumped on, then he spoke first. It was about 2 minutes, if that, probably a little less. And he said that my position had been eliminated and thank you for everything. This is not performance-based and a few other things. And then I just said thank you, and that was that. I was left with HR at that point. HR just went through all the legal stuff they have to do, just going over severance, what the COBRA was, which I had no clue about. So a few other things. So I was literally holding back my tears this whole time that I was on this call. And then after that, I called my friend and I finally broke down. Just telling her that it was me, that I was just scared about my financial future. All these things, right? You think a lot about everything in this moment. And so I thought about all the things that I've been through, how hard I've worked, how much of myself I've given this job. And I'm just gonna make a quick parenthesis here. I don't think I've talked too much into detail in this channel into some of the things I went through with this job and position, but I was severely burnt out multiple times, and the worst one had to take a leave of absence just because of the amount of stress that I was under. And again, this video is not about that, but when you give yourself so much, everything, like even your health, skipped lunches, skipped meals, and then you're laid off, it just hits differently. Another thing I want to note too about when the layoff happened, I at that point had already been feeling like my time in this company was coming to an end. Like I was just not growing anymore, not being promoted. And at that point, I wasn't happy, not only because of that, but other things internally happening. I just wasn't happy there anymore, and it was really taking a toll on me. After this layoff happened, I did not apply right away to jobs. I kind of was looking what's out there, but I knew that people were checking out for the holidays, so that made it even harder. I just took the time to grieve, honestly, during the holidays, and my severance ended up not being the amount that I thought it was going to be, because right before this round of layoffs, they made changes to the policy, so I should have gotten twice as much, and I didn't. And so it's something that I tried to negotiate, and the answer was no. So my leadway was shorter than I thought. We'll talk about more of the financials and more in detail in another video, but I didn't have a tech job. I was making 6 figures. I was not walking away with stocks like people from tech jobs were walking away, probably with a bigger savings cushion because of their 6-figure jobs. They were probably walking away with bigger severance and maybe more health coverage for a longer period of time. And they did give me like a career coach through a program, a partnership that they had. So that career coach, their job was to help me for 3 months to hopefully land a job, which obviously it didn't happen, but they did help me with interview tips and all these other things. I will say now that it's been a year, you really do know who really had your back and who really you were close with, because those are the people that really reach out to you. And for me, unfortunately, nobody from like my direct team, minus the person that I mentioned was close with that also got laid off, has reached out to me. So that's been, I think, a tough thing. Also, how quick the head of the department did my exit without really having a side conversation after being on a team together for so long. The actions tell you so much more than 1,000 words. So that's been a really tough part, I think, to really face and realize. I want to close off this video by just saying a few lessons from this layoff and what it's taught me about myself, about life. First one is that you're more than just a title. I think it was a whole grieving process, and also doing deep work and looking internally to realize my identity was tied to this job. You know, the value that I saw in myself was this job, my achievements, the awards, all of these things. So it really a time of rediscovering who I was and what made me me, and how valuable I was outside of this job. And I would say I'm still learning. This layoff also made me realize that my rest is sacred. It's not optional. The importance of taking care of myself, and just go for such a long time, traveling everywhere to manage campaigns, and unpacking, not giving myself time and space in terms of eating healthy, working out, all these things. I just gave my all. And first thing I did with the Cobra that I have for 6 months is I found my chiropractor, and I was dedicating time to healing my back, which was an issue that I was dealing with throughout my leave of absence as well. So that is something that I was working through. I'm just taking care of myself and continuing these practices every single day for myself. The other thing this layoff period has taught me, and I think it's one of the most valuable lessons, is it taught me that what you know, nobody can take away from you. So there was a time where I had to look at myself and say, what do you know and what can we create to start making some income? So I created a masterclass, a Creator Brand Deals masterclass, and it really forced forced me to step into that higher version of myself and take action. This layoff period taught me that there is a version of me internally that knew a lot, that wanted to do all these things, and I'm finally doing them now that the layoff has happened. And it took that for me to really take these steps, but it happened as it was meant to happen. For example, I started this YouTube channel when the layoff happened. I started creating content. I always wanted to create content and I never took that step. And I'm still in this journey and learning every single day. Right now, I am still unemployed, but really taking that step to see how I can create and generate income. So that is where I'm at currently, and you'll hear a lot more about it in this layoff series on how I'm creating income and just to keep myself accountable right throughout this process. I think above all, oftentimes we underestimate ourselves, what we can do. This layoff has really pushed me in that direction of, you know, becoming that version of myself that I always envisioned. And I'm still in that process. Is it harder without a job? Yes, absolutely it is. And I'm still looking for that steady income, but because I think that it's just easier to build. You're not in survival mode. I know that I can do this. It's in a slow process. There's a lot of things that I think people are in different places. Maybe other people find ways to make money faster, and that doesn't matter. I think we should honor where we're at and what we're dealing with. Some of us, like myself, are dealing with also mental health issues like anxiety, and these are even stronger during these times of uncertainties. Another thing I'm going to do, I'm going back to therapy, and I think we do need that extra support during these times of transition. That is all that I wanted to share on how my layoff happened, how it's impacted me. It is a tough season, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be like this always. I have faith and I know what I can bring to the table. It's just a matter of time. I hope this video brings you value, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. I wanted to share my real story, and it's been tough. Like I said, it's not been easy. I'm still figuring things out in real time. And for that reason, I am launching a Layoff Diaries series where I'm going to be sharing more things about this layoff, how I'm dealing with it, what I'm doing, and hopefully things turn a little brighter. But we got this, and we're going through a layoff right now. I know that it's not easy. It's very hard, especially when it's almost been a year. If you're out there in the market and it's almost been a year, I feel you, I see you, I'm with you, and yeah, we're in this together. But thank you so much for being here, and I hope you enjoyed today's video.